Thank you. You have no idea how glad I am to be back. So anyway, you are my really community, you're my spiritual family, and I'm so grateful every day of my life. I've been very blessed. So anyway, okay, so I've got a joke for you. You ready? There's a lot of heaviness, but I asked Reverend Doug, he said, tell the joke. So anyway, there was a couple traveling new to Texas, and they knew they were going to a city called Nacogdoches. Well, they argued the whole trip. How do you say Nacogdoches? And she would say it one way, and he'd say that is not right. He would say it, went back and forth. And finally, he said, that's enough. He said, the first place we stop as soon as we get to Nacogdoches, he said, we're going to go in and we're going to ask that person how you pronounce the city's name. So sure enough, the first place they saw, they went in, they went up to the counter, and a young woman was standing there, and he said to her, he said, we need your help. We've been arguing about this. He said, we need to know, how do you pronounce this city's name? Well, of course, she looked at him through her glasses, like maybe his elevator didn't quite run to the top. And she said, you really want to know? And he said, yes. She leaned in and she said, Burger King. Okay. So you're in a magnificent church, Unity Church, and our first two principles, and I'm going to just say them quickly, that there is one life, and that life is the life of God, and that life is your life and my life. And that life is within us, alive and well. And it is the force, and it is powerful beyond it is the love intelligence that governs this universe. And if it can govern this universe, what in the world could it do for you and for me? And I'm going to tell just a quick story about Star Wars and George Lucas and how that came to be. George Lucas was visiting a friend of his who was very prominent at the time in religious science, which is very akin, and they had that Science of Mind textbook out. And he glanced down, and they had the words of Ernest Holmes highlighted about the force within each of us. And that's how it came, the force be with you. And that force is within you and within me today. And we celebrate right now the inward journey. That's Howard Thurman, powerful. This is the year that if we are willing to go into that inner journey, and to go into that force, because the one thing the force won't do is it won't force us. We have to access that force. And when we access that God within us, that force that can do all things, that knows all things, that keeps this universe in order, just think of the order that's in this universe, then our lives change. Now, we can live from the outside, and we can say, woe is me, and this and that. We're welcome to do that. But then that force, that light within us is dimmed. And we want that light. Jesus said to us, be the light. Ye are my brothers and sisters. This was his commandment. He didn't say, I am the one. He said, follow me. He never said, worship me. And what unity does, it's called practical Christianity. And that means we get to take the teachings of this man who is the greatest spiritual leader of all time, and we get to apply it. And we get to know that indeed we are the light. You know, we can say about, well, my New Year's resolutions are, I want a new car, and I want this. Then we get the new car, and a month later someone scrapes it up, huh? So everything is temporal out there. The love of our life, sometimes we lose them. Life cannot be always easy. My son went away January 6th last year. He and two of his children were in Colorado, and they got a message. He lived in a community for 35 years, beautiful community, Pacific Palisades, that everything had burned down. So what do you do with that? I mean, you can go to the liquor store. We know that one. Several committed suicide. Everything they had was gone. Or we can turn within like the three little pigs. I gave a whole sermon on that, by the way, so if you're ever interested in hearing about the three little pigs, call me. But, yeah, really. That one made their house of straw, and one made their house of sticks, and one made their house of bricks. Well, you and I are invited this year because everybody that is studied about this year, whether it's philosophers or what else am I saying? it's the scientific world is saying this is going to be a year like no other. It's going to be a year that goes very fast. New medical inventions are going to come that we've never even dreamed of before. And we get to either be slow and think, oh, this and that, or we get to say, yes, I am here for a higher purpose. None of us came in just to be whoever. Okay, I'm a teacher. Wonderful. Be a teacher. But also know that within you is the power and presence and love that God is. That's what we came in for. Whether we're a lawyer, a homemaker, underneath it all, whatever we do, we are here to express the power of God within us. How does that look? Loving kindness, peace, joy, being able to take it higher. Emma Curtis Hopkins, I've got to watch my time very closely because I want Reverend Doug to, once said, keep it upstairs. And if we keep it upstairs, then we don't see all of this conflict. I'm not saying that we're blind to it, but we get to take a higher vision. If there is a divine presence, then that divine presence is with you and with me. So Joel Goldsmith, one of his books was The Practice of the Presence of God. Let's do that this year. Let's practice that. Let's know that beyond anything taking place, there is a power and a presence within us that can do all things, but we have to court it and be here with it. You court a lover. You court your children sometimes, bringing them over for dinner or whatever it is. We court that presence because the more we turn within, the greater the flame goes. I want to just give a quick quote by Charles Fillmore. He said, "The joy of the Lord be unto you. You should begin the new year with great enthusiasm because the truth is the truth." He said, "Forget the things that are past. Rejoice in the opportunities of the present." And there are myriads. He didn't say that, I did. Many blessings are yours. Pile up those blessings in your consciousness, and they will multiply and increase until your joy will be filled. God bless and keep us always. And may the force be with you all. And so it is.